Hi everyone, Mary at Espresso Press Design. Thank you for joining me today. May 4th, 2025. Today I'm going to attempt a viewer request video, something I normally don't do, and I'll say why in a second, but I'm going to attempt it. And we're going to do they had a question about the wax paper, laminated wax paper. And since I really didn't want to redo another video of that particular topic exactly, I thought today what I would do is make some of these laminated envelopes this is one of my favorite pieces of ephemera, and it's laminated with wax paper. It has a fuzzy cut pansy, and it has some embossing, so it's actually a triple. So I thought I would attempt that, and usually I do not put my sizzix on the table because it shakes the table and therefore the camera, and so that's why I just don't do it. But I'm going to attempt it today, and I have pre-prepared my faux envelopes here. So what you'll need is some wax paper, and I use Cut-Rite. I found that the wax paper from the Dollar Tree isn't as transparent as Cut-Rite, so I did not realize that there was a difference in wax paper transparency, so from now on I'm just going to recommend this brand, or one that you know is as transparent as Cut-Rite. So you'll need some flowers of your choice. You'll need some book pages of your choice, and if you want to do this fancy edge, you will need some die cuts of your choice, but that's not necessary. You can just do a corner ticket edge or a 3-corner fancy punch, decorative punch edge on the corners if you want. And you'll need an embossing folder of your choice, and I'm using this one because it does not cut too deeply, so I have no fears of damaging my envelope because book pages are pretty thin. And I apologize for the lighting as well. Very cloudy here today, and I normally don't video this late in the day, but I have something else planned for Tuesday, and there's really no other day I can do this in a timely fashion, so I decided to just do it today. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to fold a book page for you so that you can see how to do it. And I'm probably going to remain standing. Okay, so this is the front, and the front is the only part that gets laminated. The inside of this is not laminated. And you're going to put your fussy cut on the front, like so. And I probably should do that first. Okay, when you fold your paper, you just turn your text upside down, and that way these are all going to be different because they're all depending on your book page size. and that way your text is readable on the envelope flap and on the faux envelope front. Okay, so that's how you fold your paper. And then I took the liberty of pre-fussy cutting everything so that I could just glue. So then I'm going to glue on top of everything. I already have my folds, and hopefully I can still see those after I run this through the sizzix. And if the sizzix begins shaking the table, I will just abort shaking the table and the camera, and then I will just abort, and at least this person will see how the sandwich goes. So there we go. Get that off that gluey paper. Give it a light initial press. And ideally I should let this dry a little bit so it doesn't slide in my press. But I'm just going to hope. Actually, what I'll do is I'll glue both. That way I can ensure that I have a little extra drying time. Before I run anything through there. So I guess at least if it doesn't work, you'll see the sandwich. And I know you're probably getting a nasty shadow there. And if you're doing this from scratch, I pre-trimmed everything. So I'm going to take extra care to go around my corners. But if you're doing this from scratch, you'll likely be trimming it to size. And this is, the width is going to the size of my die cut, which is 4.5 inches. And my page is actually 4.5 by 9. This one is 4.5 by 9. Okay, that's not going to work. Just choose another piece. And you don't need a sizzix to do this. If you have a brayer, if you have a rolling pin, if you have a cork, and you just apply enough pressure. Some people just do that. Here's the cork example. And I just go over and just keep burnishing until I feel it's extremely stuck. But I just like the sizzix. I think it goes faster, and I just want to make absolutely sure that everything's adhered. Okay, so here we go. Give that a little time. I still feel a little cool, but we're going to try it anyway, because there is the potential that your paper could slide and tear because there is too much pressure. So I have 4 plates, the base plate, the shim plate, and 2 clear plates, and I'm using old plates here because sometimes a little glue does seep out. I'm just going to cover my plates to protect my paper. And since I'm using a book page, it's pretty thin, so I might need a shim. Okay, here goes. I'm going to go slow. Yeah, I think I need a shim. I don't feel enough pressure. Wax paper's thin. Okay, there we go. That's not max pressure, but it's probably enough to do the job. And I am not going to run that back through. I'm just going to move it up a little bit. So I can make sure I get my entire piece. I'll see I had glue on there. Into the press. Okay, so that's all I'm doing. Since that's 9 inches long, just going to make sure I get the other part in there. Here we go, and I slid everything. So there you go. I have my entire faux envelope pressed. And I don't see any sliding. A little bit of a slide there. That's okay. I'll just take my cork and burnish that down. Let me just move that. See that little bit of a, I doubt if you're going to see it, maybe there's a little bit of a slide there. That could be where I turned my paper around as well. So I'm just going to take my cork. See if I can burnish that out. Well, it's stuck, so I can't pull it apart to see what happened. My glue might have actually been dried. In that spot. That might be what happened because it kind of looks like a bubble. Or a stain. Okay, I'm not quite sure. but I do see my one fold. See if I can find my, I'm going to trim this off. Make sure I can find my folds. I see one clearly, one I don't. Oh, and you know what? I shouldn't even have that. It's white paper. Oh, okay. That's because it's a digital. Okay, I thought I accidentally. So now I peeled off that corner. Now I'm going to have to re-stick that corner. Okay, so that's a good thing. I was wondering why that back was white if it was a book page. It's not a book page. It's a digital. It's a digital book page. Okay. Okay. So this one will actually be a writable surface. That terrible shadow. Okay, I'll trim that better later. Okay, there's my folds. Found it. One fold. Two folds. Okay. So now I'm going to do my cut my edge, my die cut edge. So I'll need all my plates for that. And I used this one. Okay. And I want to trim. Oh, are you kidding me? I have a piece of paper in here. Let me get that out. Two pieces of paper in there. Okay. I might need a piece of tape for this. And I can tell this is a little too wide. So you know what? I'm going to laminate this one. Get this one done. And I'll cut this one because I know it's smaller. Okay, there we go. Second one, and it should be perfectly, it should be dry enough. I don't have to worry about it. Okay. There we go. Had some glue on my plate. There we go, ran through. So let me trim that. There's one. Okay, there's two. This is going to need some little bit better trimming, but I'll do that after on my time. Okay. Through here again. Line up my die. Whoops. I'm going to use a piece of tape here because my plates are warped. It's hard to get that where I want it. And I am going to want it perfectly centered, right up against the top edge. Let me get up here where I have a smoother surface. Okay. Don't move. Cut off that edge. Okay. Let's stick my tape. Well, that's a little odd, but I'll fix that later. It gave me a little, what's the word? A little weird edge there, and I'll have to trim that up. Okay, so then I put this in my embossing folder just to the first fold. But you can put it in as far as you want. And I don't need that plate. You can emboss the entire thing if you want. But I just did the envelope flap in the back. Okay. Find my edge again, find my fold again. There we go. A second laminated, wax paper laminated faux envelope. Okay, let me get this out of the way. Neaten that up a little bit. And then I might have to trim the other one down. But I think you get the gist. And I really don't know I'm just neatening up the edge of that. die cut a little bit. And you know what I'll do? I'll do the second one with just my corner rounder for people that might not have die cuts to get a fancy edge. Okay, yeah, that's what I'll do. So I have this, and I'll probably use my scallop edge here. That will still be pretty. Even a tag corner will be pretty, and that needed glued. Oh dear. I peeled that off too, apparently. And I'll never get that aluminum, or not aluminum foil. I'll never get that back into that corner. Unless I put another piece of paper, maybe. Okay, let me just do the cork on that corner. Make sure that's nice. I could have possibly even missed a spot while I was gluing. Okay, let me see. Let's see if we can get this. Into the punch again, because it will never cut that wax paper as a single layer. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. Just going to put another little faux corner on there. Oops, and it didn't work. It went halfway. Okay, I'm going to attempt to trim that by hand. The glue is wet. That didn't help. Okay, there we go. There we go. Good enough. Okay. So I can still, let me neaten this up a little bit. Where's my other scissors? I can still run that through the embossing machine. Embossing folder, I mean. So just remember, all your envelope size is going to depend on your book page size. Okay. So there's one with just not embossed decorator scissor ticket corners. And there's two with a die cut edge, a fancy die cut edge. So let me just run this through the embossing folder. And again, you could also turn it this way if you want. It's not going to fit entirely. So I might just partially emboss that. Let me see if I can get it through there twice. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to emboss it, and then I'm going to turn it around and emboss the entire thing. Whoops, wait a minute. I have an extra plate in there I don't need. Okay. Hopefully I don't have to stand up to do this. Okay, so I really don't want to go back through there, but I don't have a choice. This table's not wide enough. Okay. Well, that neatened that up quite a bit. So let me see what that looks like if I don't do the whole thing. That's not too bad. Yeah, I think I'll just leave it like that, because I kind of, even though I have that, what's the word, misting there, it kind of doesn't bother me. Let me see if I can line this up. And how much I'm actually going to get in there. Okay, I'll just have the little top edge that won't be embossed. Alright, in for a penny, in for a pound. Let's do it. And you could also put it face down in your embossing folder. Okay. That camouflaged that misting quite a bit. Now I have to refine my fold. Good luck with that. Oh, there we go. That worked. Okay, well, this is kind of a disaster because there's too much moving stuff around, but I hope you get the gist. And I hope when I go to edit this, I don't see camera shake. I'll just have to do a video apologizing about why I can't put my embossing folder on the table. Okay, that's pretty, even though it's fully embossed. And there's my first one, and there's my second one. Okay, let me bring these up to show you. There's my first one, and I think I have two of these. These are some of my favorite things. And I don't know why I can't find the other one. Sorry for that terrible shadow. And there's the one that's totally embossed, front and back. And that's a digital, but well, yeah, that's another thing. If you do that, you're not going to have any writing space unless you glue another piece of paper in there. So don't forget that. And then here's the last one, which needs a little neatening in the trimming department. So, okay everyone, 36. I hope that was self-explanatory enough. The sizzix is really just for the pressure. Doesn't matter which way you put your paper in. You could do it face down, face up. You can burnish this with a brayer. You can use a cork. Just try to make sure that your glue is like 90% dry before you apply any pressure in the machine because you might have it slide a little bit from the pressure. And if you're going to use wet glue, definitely make sure it's almost dry before you put it in the machine, or it will slide and tear your paper and wrinkle your wax paper. Okay, I hope. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time. Hopefully it will be sunny and it will be, the lighting will be as usual, normal. Thanks again, everyone. Bye.